What up, no one? Apologies. This fucking StreamYard is still dragging and not loading my microphone. Everything else on my side says my microphone is working fine. But this goddamn StreamYard is not using my microphone. This is very upsetting. Fuck something up. I can't. It won't let me change the mic at all. Won't let me change the mic at all to anything. So I can't even turn off the camera mic. This makes no sense, dude. They have my microphone listed as one of the fucking speakers, which it is not. It's not a speaker, stupid. Unbelievable. Well, I came on here to give you folks my reaction to the Superman movie. And I didn't put no spoilers on the thumbnail and in the title because I don't do spoilers. So I don't feel the need to have to tell people that shit to watch a reaction because I never do spoilers. So you would know not to look for that for me if you are a random person or a regular person. One week is working, the next week is not working at all. So stupid. Anyway, I am still processing a little bit of this Superman movie, what I just saw. So I got my ticket for today right after work. Went right after work to watch the Superman movie. Got my popcorn, something to drink, and went and sat down to watch this movie and really brought no predispositions to the movie. Outside of the fact that it was a James Gunn movie, which I would say that I am predisposed to kind of liking. And then just a Superman movie. So the interest is in seeing how James Gunn would do a Superman movie. Now, I cannot say that I was overwhelmed in this, that anything in it really overly shocked me or anything like that, or really made me stand up and say, damn, this is a hell of a movie. Nothing like that. And so I'm still puzzling in my head, is that because it is a James Gunn movie, which doesn't give you that kind of feeling? Not usually. Or it's because it's Superman. And the Superman is a bit too modern. I would say that. I think he's a bit too modern. And the reason I say that is when you think of people like Superman and Captain America, one of the reasons they are standout characters to an extent is because they do not necessarily fit in the time that they're in. Their ideals, their values, how they see to handle a situation is completely counter to the modern intelligence on how these situations are handled. And that's what puts them at odds with people at times. Like, I am not a huge DC reader, right? I've read DC. I'm not a huge DC reader. So I'm not a DC stan. So I would tell you this from my experience with DC. Superman, or at least a classic version of Superman's idea of how he interacts with the DC universe is that, yes, people see him as the Boy Scout, but he's the Boy Scout because the ideals that he holds are different from the modern times. That's why they hold him up in some senses and revere him. He is the one who's going to hold to that, tell no lies and try to do everything right situation. That's who he is. That's how the other heroes look at him. The other heroes may be of the modern time, but Superman seems like he is something pulled out of the 1930s. Now, in Marvel, it's kind of the same thing with Captain America. The only difference is, in Captain America's case, you do have it in his history, in his lore, that he was frozen in time for a while. So when he was defrosted, he still had those same sentiments. Didn't matter how much time had passed, he still held those kernels of those same kind of sentiments and those ideals, and he still brought them forward. So that's why Captain America calling somebody son was not, racially charged or disrespectful in some senses. It just spoke to how he understood how to talk and interact with people from his time. He is the man out of time. And the values that he holds to and stands up to are not what a lot of the modern heroes do. That's why he steps up as the ideal, because we want to be as good as Cap. Because modern time wise, we are not, and we know it. I think for this Superman movie, that's what's missing. I don't get that feeling of this is an elder statesman in some senses. He should be at the front of a metahuman cadre because the ideals he holds to are hokey or classic in a sense. No, I see this one as this could be the new 52 Superman. Definitely. Because he is emotional. He is emotional. He does cry. He does make mistakes and wants to shut down like a modern millennial when challenged on said mistakes. So for me, as a parent of millennials and a Z, my daughter's on the cusp, it makes it seem a little frustrating because I want my Superman to have a little more grown man resolve. I just do. Now, saying none of that is a spoiler. None of that is a spoiler. It's just, it seems that it's missing something. Like, the meal might have been really good, but it's just missing. It's something that you can't put your finger on it, but it's just something there that is missing. The phrase that keeps coming back to me is saying that it just seemed too safe. That's what I think it was. It just seemed like it was too safe. Some of the things in the movie didn't shock me. I got one shocking scene in this to me that was shocking, and it was over and done with in less than a second. And in one sense, it was so quickly cut that you barely see it. And that was in a fight. And that was the one, emotive reaction I had watching. It's like, ooh, that was it. Otherwise, I'm just watching shit and taking notes and hearing certain things like, nope, fuck that. Seeing different things happen on the screen with characters, I'm like, that's not it. That's not the character. Why even touch that character if you're not going to research it fully? That is not how that happened. I'm automatically now irritated because I happen to like this fucking character. So now I got to sit here and deal with this as your representation of this character from here on out. Okay. Some stuff was a bit too relatable. I see you, Hollow Ninja. Appreciate you. Um, New Superman was cool, bro. I liked it a lot. 8.5 out of 10. Well, that's awesome. I can't wait for your review. Superman needs more independence and less emotion. He's not there. He's not. Now, for me, nothing really wowed me in this. And that's just my reaction. Nothing really wowed me in this. Now, understand for any new people here like Hollow Ninja, because I've never seen you before. When I give my reactions, I'm not telling you what you should watch, what you shouldn't watch, what you should like, or what you should not like. That's not what a reaction is supposed to be. Damn sure ain't what a review is supposed to be in my book. I'm telling you what I thought, what I felt being in the movie, and what resonated with me. And I can tell you right now, nothing in this 2 hours plus movie resonated with me. Nothing. I watched it. It was a movie. It looked really good in a lot of scenes. It did. You could tell the money was put on the screen. But certain parts of this damn movie, I sat there and thought about, then why the fuck did you get rid of Zack Snyder? Because this is the same shit. This is exactly the same shit that Zack Snyder's stock and trade. You just could have hired him again. I thought we were getting away from that. Now, on a positive note, Crypto wasn't as annoying as I thought he would be because I was really concerned that I was going to step into this movie and it was going to be the Crypto and Superman movie. And then I was going to have a little bit of an issue because I wasn't, while I would be interested in seeing the Crypto, I was not showing up to see a fucking Crypto movie. That's not what I got. Where Crypto was used was tasteful. Fine. Thank you. Fine. In some places, it was actually funny. Cool. Thank you. But my major concern when watching a James Gunn Superman movie was going to be how much of it is about Superman as opposed to how much of it is about the ensemble. I could say everybody in this movie had, well, damn near everybody except for three people, had some moments. They did. Everybody had some moments in here that made it seem interesting that they were there. But overall, it did seem to focus more on Superman. And I mean that literally. It focuses more on Superman. Clark in this movie is somewhat of an afterthought because Clark is what you get when maybe he might be with Lois. He sees his family. That's the extent of the Clark part that you get. Some of the times it's supposed to be Superman, but it feels like it's Clark in a suit. And if you understand that there's a difference between Clark and a Superman, then you get what I'm saying. So it does focus on Superman. It does give some shine to other heroes and other regular supporting characters in this as well. But none of it really did anything for me. It wasn't shocking. And the only thing I can think of leaving the theater is matching this movie up to other James Gunn movies and trying to really ask myself, did I have the same feeling walking out of other movies? And I can tell you, after watching Guardians 2, I had a good time watching Guardians 2, but I fucking hated Yondu. I hated the praise Yondu was getting. I did. Because for what was divulged in that movie that Yondu engaged in, he did not need to be getting any praise at all. I didn't like that shit. But at least that was an emotional reaction to the material. Other scenes in there kicked ass, it rocked, I enjoyed it. Laughed my ass off, had a good time. I can't say I overly had a good time with this because I watched it and I didn't really feel anything. And that was the part that's bothering me. I didn't really feel anything. I didn't feel a sense of real danger, except for Superman at one part. I didn't really feel a sense of dread or foreboding or anything like that from the other characters in the show, especially around Lex. And I didn't really feel a sense of hope leaving the movie. Not that it left it in some shit place. It didn't. It just seemed like this is all pointless. So the fuck what? So Hollow Ninja wants to guide the conversation. What do I think of Lex Luthor? You're going to ask me a question and tell me what he was. Do you want your answer or do you want my answer? Because if you're going to ask me a question, don't tell me what he was. You're trying to lead a suggestion. I would ask you then, what was hella cool about Lex Luthor? Explain it. What was hella cool about him? So then I can get into what it is that you actually enjoy about movies. And then I can get back to giving my reaction about what I enjoy about the movie. That's fine, but I didn't ask. You asked me a question and answered it with your opinion. So if you just want to state your opinion, just state your fucking opinion. You don't need the prerequisite of asking me mine to give me yours. You don't give a fuck. I'm sitting up here giving my opinion right now. What's up, Sportaholic? Now, I didn't come out of this feeling really anything, really. I felt like Superman and Lois were just a couple of millennial kids trying to figure out a relationship with the two of them. And the moments at which they expressed love for each other felt about as stuck in as, I don't know, a splinter in your paw. Put it that way. Like we have no lead up for any of that shit. There's no payoff to hear that. There isn't. It's like, okay, fine, you said it. What does it matter? Sportaholic, appreciate you, Sportaholic. He said, if you already covered this, my bad, but I really enjoyed Mr. Terrific. I didn't cover that. I hadn't talked about Mr. Terrific yet. I was not specific because this is a reaction, not a review. A reaction is what I have going through my head after watching the movie. My movie just finished up at 8:30. I came straight home and fired this up. So I'm not being specific on anything. But if you like Mr. Terrific, awesome. I think Mr. Terrific, in some senses, in a couple of scenes, sounded like a bitchy Nick Fury, which I didn't like. I didn't like the smartest man in the world, or one of the smartest men in the world. I think he's number 4 in the DC universe. Not being able to figure out something that Lex did, and then bitching the whole time about how he didn't know how to do it, to get into the control room is like, I don't need your help. I'm Mr. Terrific. Like, nigga, please. You just couldn't figure it out a minute ago. Now you got all the answers? Man, shut the fuck up with that dumb shit. That was a stupid line. And like I said, I'm not spoiling the movie. So I'm just talking about my reaction. I'm not talking about plot for the movie. And stop putting that shit in the chat because I don't spoil movies for people. If you want to go see the movie, you'll go see the movie. If you don't, you won't. It won't be because I told you what was happening in the movie. I don't do that shit. I am not a spoiler. And part of my problem with this, why I titled this thumbnail modern man or modern problems, is because I think that maybe my reaction for this movie was so fucking ruined because I spent so fucking long listening to people trying to spoil the goddamn thing. Constantly trying to give tidbits, constantly trying to give plot leaks, constantly showing scenes of the fucking movie that I just wanted to sit in the theater and watch and see for the first time and not have every beat of the motherfucker spoiled before I ever got to the goddamn theater. I'm sick of that shit. I think I'm really beginning to form an opinion that is the bane of modern movies. It's this spoiler, I need to be the first kid to tell you some shit mentality that is in grown-ups now because all you motherfuckers have grown up and you don't know how to hold fucking water. So I was really sitting in there asking myself when the credits were rolling and I'm reading the end credits and seeing the 300 to 400 people that worked on this movie. And I'm like, which one of these motherfuckers was out there leaking information? Or did it come from the higher ups? Would my opinion of this movie be completely different if I hadn't heard fucking spoilers? Probably so. Maybe I could have felt something if I didn't know certain things were going to happen. But it was almost impossible to avoid it because motherfuckers been talking about it for months. So to me, I'm seeing my movie experience ruined time after time after time after time because I'm getting to the movie and it's almost no surprises. There's nothing to be excited about. It's already been picked over, picked apart, and strewed out for everyone to see. So what's left? The end credits. That's it. What the title screen might look like. You're getting the Sam Jackson wide room too. Yeah, he sounds straight up like Sam Jackson in a couple scenes. I'm like, bro, you was doing all right in some other scenes. This one and this one, that was it. That was your impression of Sam Jackson. That was a little off. Too much comedy, modern problems. James Gunn does comedy. Guardians has comedy in it. Super has comedy in it. Some of his other movies have comedy in it. He does fucking comedy. So, to me, it's absolutely pointless to complain about comedy when you say you like a James Gunn movie and you knew he was directing this one. What the fuck did you think you was going to get? Super serious? Christopher Nolan? Come on, man. Come on. It was going to be comical. And seeing this movie be comical outside of the MCU shows you where that shit came from in the MCU. If you weren't following the bouncing ball to understand Guardians brought in all that comedy shit that the MCU cannot get away from, because that's what works, and they not gonna stop doing it. James Gunn is the one who brought that shit in there, and now he's brought it into DC, Warner Brothers. So if you don't like the comedy in this one, you're probably not gonna like the comedy in the rest of the shit he do at DC Studios, because it'll all be there. That is not going away. So if your 17-year-old loved it, cool. It was probably made more for him. I'm not saying I hated it. I'm just saying I didn't feel anything. And that's bothersome in a sense. Because, at least for me, in a Superman movie, I want to feel like I catch my breath when he makes the save. If he's getting his ass kicked, I understand that there are serious stakes at play, and I feel something for him getting his ass kicked. It means something for him to turn about that shit. Maybe I'm old and jaded, I don't know, but I wasn't feeling that. I watched it happen. I wasn't feeling that shit at all. I wanted to say I agree. Well, people who spoil content ruin my experience. My ex girlfriend spoiled Avengers Endgame for me. Bro, I was so mad I was gonna dump her right there. The minute I saw Endgame, I streamed and I told people, do not spoil the Endgame. Do not spoil it. I did a reaction like I'm doing now, and I told people, do not spoil the Endgame. This is something that has to be seen for you to feel it. And I don't want to be that person. That's why I don't let people in my chat be that person. I know this is the era now where everybody loves to run around and tell shit first. I don't want to be that person. I'll sit out because I don't want to spoil anybody's movie going experience at all because I don't like mine spoiled. I am still a consumer of this shit as much as I'm a critic of it. And I'm a critic because I love it, not because it pays me a lot to critique it. No, I'm a critic of it because I love it. And I watch all of it, good, bad, or indifferent. So when I'm saying something, it's just, look, this is what I got from it. Maybe you liked it more. Maybe I liked it more. Who knows? But this is what I saw. No different than I would do if the shop was still open and I opened up tomorrow and my patrons would come in there and we'd be talking about the movie the same way. The only difference is I knew everybody that walked through the door already saw the shit. So it wouldn't be a conversation that would spoil anything for anybody else unless someone new walked in and I'd be asking them right there, have you seen the Superman movie yet? No, okay, then we'll moderate what we say because we don't want to spoil it for you. Otherwise, if we all initiate it, we have a really open and frank conversation about what we watched. So, I don't know. I don't think Corner Sweat did a bad job. He was interesting in some ways as Clark, more so than he was interesting as Superman. As Clark, it seemed like he got to be more of a man. And I remember there was one scene, and this is not a spoiler, that he's Clark, he's at Lois's place, and he leaves. And I'm remembering how you have to remember that Clark is like the disguise for who he actually is. So he didn't need to actually walk out of Lois's house when she knows who he is. They've been dating for some months. He didn't have to do that, but he did. He walked out the front door, picked up his shit, walked out the front door, and left just like a regular dude. I was like, that's interesting. And it was just something simple as that because in that moment, I actually identified with where the character was and how he was leaving that situation. And it made that some dumb shit that I saw in the trailer, one of the many fucking trailers, which was too many. It made that interview scene better ish to understand why he sounded like a whiny bitch and going off the handle at fucking Lois. Like, I don't want a Superman who's emotionally out of control. That's not smart, dude. That's like watching an anime and a child got the powers of God. A lot of people about to die. That's what that means. So, at least in seeing the movie with the whole scene play out, it worked better. And I did have a reaction to him leaving like that, just under his regular steam as Clark. I thought it was interesting. Relationship dynamics, get to that shit. It was interesting. A little lame, but still interesting. But as Superman, I didn't see enough of a switch unless he was just sitting and talking. Right? So that was bothering me a bit. Like, perfect example. Christopher Reeves, when he played Superman, he would hunch, he would stutter, mutter, whatever, fuck with his glasses, be clumsy, all this shit, right? All these idiosyncrasies of Clark Kent. But when it became he's being Superman, Kal-El, who he actually is, his posture straightened up, he talked more directly, he's more stern, and he doesn't do a lot of big movements. He's almost kind of enamored or tickled with talking to people. Like he could have fun with them. It wasn't that much of a switch between Corn Sweats, Clark, and Superman. He almost seemed more emotional as Superman than he was as Clark, which to me should be reversed. Because, yeah, I could say I watched a James Gunn movie and I saw a Superman cry. Okay. Fucking villain cried in this too. We got a bunch of emo people running around apparently. Throwing tantrums and all kind of shit. You know, the same kind of shit that we said we didn't like in Kylo Ren because he was too fucking emotional and out of control as a fucking Sith. And what was the other one? I just had it on the tip of my tongue that we as a fan base was saying we didn't like it because the character was too emotional. Well, I got a whole villain, arch villain for Superman. Weepy eyed. I'm like, motherfucker, Nicholas, I just saw you do this. I just saw you do this in another movie. Why is Lex crying? Oh, I remember what it is. This is the same thing that we said they didn't like about Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, right? Too young, he was emotional. Nicholas Holt, he full on fucking crying. That's okay though. It's hella inconsistent to me. Hollow Ninja. Notice that a lot of people were mad that it didn't start from the origin when he came to Earth. I've been saying that for years. I don't need to see another origin of any character because I already know it. Especially none of these main ones that they keep making movies for every 5 to 10 years. I don't need another goddamn origin. And I am perfectly fine with watching a movie that didn't start with their fucking origin. I'm good. Thank you. Move on. The world knows this origin, okay? The world. Just get to the damn story. Say what you gotta say and let us the fuck out of here. You're not making it epic. Kal-El was a flirt in Christopher Reeve. Yeah, he was. He was flirting with Lois the whole time because he knew he liked her. He knew he was interested in her. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get that shit. Yeah, I'm gonna get that. He gonna take this super D. Looking at her panties and everything. But that was the 80s, mind you. Late 70s, early 80s. It's not, you know, 2025 where it's like, oh, the super male gaze. Like, fuck me. And speaking of which, speaking of the male gaze, there was one scene in this that Rachel Brosnahan, whatever the fuck her name is, actually looked cute to me. One scene in this whole 2 hours, and she was in a lot of scenes. There's one scene in there where she actually looked attractive to me. That's it. Other than that, I looked at how the camera situated itself on her, and it always tried to either highlight her ass or her chest, which ain't that much to look at. But there was one scene that actually worked for me, and it was just something in her eyes. Her eyes actually popped in the light. They lit it right, and her eyes were actually popped. Other than that, her acting was fine, but she always to me looks like a fucking shabby Lois Lane. That never looked like the person that should have been Lois Lane to me. Never. And I don't know who ever said that that motherfucker was hot. But different strokes for different folks. I'm backstroking on that one. That ain't it. That is nowhere near hot to me. But whatever. It's very modern. Very modern sensibilities. But Cat Grab, minus that fucking wig, she could have been Lois. You would have understood why. Yeah, I've been saying that for a while though. I've been saying that since before. What was it? When BVS came out, and I went to BVS at the local theater at the Cerrito, and I got in there a couple minutes late, and they asked me what I missed, and they were just going ahead and trying to blow through the Batman origin. I said, "Oh, thank God," because I had said it right before that. I don't need to see another goddamn origin. I'm sick of it. And that was the first movie they kind of just forego that shit and went on with the story. It's like, oh, thank you. Oh, good, because I didn't need to hear that shit for the upteenth time. I got it for a long time, like my whole life. I get it. They need to make a new Green Lantern movie. Ryan Reynolds' version was trash. This is old news and nothing to do with the current movie. Um, they have a Green Lantern show coming out soon. We'll see what that is. With John Stewart and Hal Jordan. We'll see what that is when it comes out. I think it's next year. I don't think it's this year. I think it's next year. Yeah, see. Thank you, Sportaholic. As you guys are getting my reaction off topic. Um, so that takes care of the male gaze on Lois Lane. I think the actress did fine, but one of the things that I had a problem with is characters given a bit too much exposition to other characters. It doesn't make any sense to me. There's a reason why Tarantino has a career and why people like Tarantino movies outside of blood and gore, possibly in Bound, or use of the N word, is that he writes dialogue like people actually talking to each other. So even if they're giving exposition, it doesn't sound in that sense like exposition, like I'm reading this from a script. It sounds like people just talking and throwing in information. Now, I don't know if that comes down to the directing or strictly what's on the page. But in this movie, it sounds like it was read right off a fucking page. So that can come down to either directing or bad acting. Not delivering the lines like they're organically coming from you. More like I need to put this in here because it needs to be said in the script. There's a couple of scenes of that, and it was like a speed bump when I heard it. Like, the fuck was that? That's what it felt like. What up, Trill? Good news sounds I'd rather see the Bat family spam Bruce. That's there was no spark between Lois and Clark to you. No, it wasn't. And that was probably why that them saying I love you to each other fell flat to me. Because I didn't feel the spark. At one point, well, I can't say that, that'd be a spoiler. But no, I didn't feel the fire. There was not the Lion King, can you feel the love in the air tonight moment. There was not. I didn't see it. Will always be played by a super regular looking woman. I never understood Kal-El's attraction to Lois Lane. Because she's never been super regular. Not really. At least not in the comics. She's not super regular looking. But I guess in this generation, Rachel would do. Rachel will do. She can wear her high water pants and her big ass shoes and say, yep, that's the hot chick you wanted. Because she punk rock. What the fuck ever. I think Nicholas Hoult did good as Lex. His Lex seemed like he had a lot on the ball. But at different points, Lex was out of control. And that's where it got back to that Jesse Eisenberg for me. Now, there was some funny scenes with Lex because, like I said, James Gunn can do some comedy. They worked. But at some point, they just seemed tedious to me. Now, Mr. Terrific, I liked his portrayal, but like I said, different points he sounded like fucking a bitchy Nick Fury. He did. Like, we got a guy in a chair that can float in the battle. Awesome. But I did like the representation that they had on. And to the credit of me giving the movie a chance, his mask looked better in the movie. than I thought it looked in the trailer that I saw. Because you have to remember, after a point, I stopped watching trailers. I don't like when they release fucking 5 or 6 trailers and teasers and all that shit. They just keep giving away more and more of the movie. I mean, I just got some other parts of the Fantastic Four spoiled sitting in this movie waiting for it to start. Like, Jesus. I didn't need to see that in the trailer, Marvel. Fuck you guys. I don't know how to do trailers for shit. There is no anticipation going into this session. You've given up everything. Fuck. So, for this, Terrific did live up to that a little bit. I'm glad you got to see a scene with him fighting, but they never made the distinction, really, that Mr. Terrific, as far as I recall, is not a metahuman. And they never actually made that distinction that he's not a metahuman. He's flanked by some metahumans, but he is not a metahuman. Nothing about him is actually on the meta scale. Because he's not. He's a regular person. Which means it's attainable with work. So I liked his role in this. I didn't. There was a scene in here where he couldn't figure out what was going on, and that was bothering me a bit because, to my knowledge, to my thinking of how the character is performing in this shit, your tech should be better. Your own personal tech should be better than the shit that you're trying to work against. And if it's not, then y'all need to scale this intelligence shit in here some kind of way next time so you understand who's working with what. Just saying. For me. What's going on, Beast? Oh, excuse me. Shout out to Herb. What's good with you, Herb? The costume was on point. His costume was on point. That shit looked fly. Even down to his shoes, which is something I always look at. The shoes look cool. The whole costume, how it came together and shit, it worked. The main thing I was most concerned about was that T on his face. What was that going to look like? Because that's supposed to be part of his tech. So were they able to make something that looked really good? Or was it going to be some big blocky thing on his fucking head? No, it was actually form fitted to his lips and everything else. It was like one piece that was trim and it was there, even at profile shots. It looked good. The only part that most people like myself would point out is like, damn, what's up with the hair though? You kind of get past it. As far as I know, it's real hair, so whatever. So his costume looked straight. I liked it. I don't fault James Gunn on doing costumes any. I know everybody has their reservations, especially Charles has his reservations about the Superman costume and that muted blue that they have. But Mr. Terrific's costume looked fly. If they were selling a leather jacket like that somewhere, you'd go buy it. You would. You'd go buy that shit. You could buy the whole outfit. They look like J's without the laces. Yeah, they look. If you go back and watch the original Batman 89 movie, you see what Batman's boots are. What are they? They're fucking Michael Jordans. The whole time. They've always been Michael Jordans. Right? It's not that big of a deal. They've taken what exists in the world and repurposing it. So if he has some repurposed J's, some 13s or something like that, who the fuck cares? Did you think they were going to go out and make a brand new pair of shoes? No. I didn't think she was terrible, but Hawk Girl didn't move the needle to make much of an impact at all. She did one thing memorable. That's it. No, she didn't. She didn't. And Isabella Merced, that was probably the easiest money she made. And that's even saying after being in Madam Web in this last season of Last of Us. She did more acting in The Last of Us than this shit. Because the most thing that her fucking Hawk Girl did was scream and lay around. So that was some easy money. Um, and since now we've had two different Hawk people, I like Aldous Hodge's Hawkman a lot more than I liked her Hawkwoman. To me, because I'm not really interested in lazy ass heroes. That does not work for me. That works in a comedy. That does not work for me. I like my heroes to be after it, man, and to be serious about what they're doing. If you've grown up watching, the Justice League cartoon and shit, what part of that had Hawk Girl acting like she was a lazy bitch and didn't want to go out there and do something? And just screaming like an eagle the whole time. That didn't work for me. That did not work for me. She's cute. Make no mistake about it. Isabella Merced is cute as hell. Nice lips. But that shit wasn't working for me. She could have not. Look, use my boy JT and Chris's test of a character. Could you have a lamp in her role and play it just as well? If you replaced her with a lamp, would it perform just as well? If the answer is yes, she wasn't doing shit in the movie. Yeah, it was. Because that's all the character did. So, it is what it is, man. Leave something to be desired. Just like the engineer. Now, other than that, I'm an hour in. I'm going to just go ahead and end this because it's supposed to be a reaction, not a review. I will say, would I watch the movie again? I wouldn't. I don't think I would need to. I've seen it once. I don't think I would need to watch it again. It's definitely not making me feel like I need to go see it again or go grab some people to go see it again, like Sinners or anything like that. But I didn't do that for Brave New World or anything else I've seen so far this year either. So if Sinners is the standard, then this movie falls way short too. Now, I know the pause in everybody's breath will be how good is this movie related to the Fantastic Four that comes out in another week or so. Um, that'll be a debate that I might look to listen to. But I think this movie will suffer more from the burden of expectations on it and trying to be able to lift the whole franchise than it just being its own movie. And I think that's what will kill this more than anything else. All those expectations, all those spoilers had for what this movie has to do and what it needs to make and all the rest of that shit will be there for a movie it's a fine movie to watch. It's fine. It's not moving the needle anyway, like Trell was saying. It's not moving the needle. Or excuse me, that was Sportaholic. I said that. It's not moving the needle, but it happened. So you got a new Superman. Awesome. How does he stack up to the rest of them? This is the crying of Superman that you will see out of all the ones you've had so far. and that's given a CGI Nicolas Cage. Now, there's another part in this that comes at the end of the movie that I found really objectionable to me. And I didn't like the way this character was portrayed at all. At fucking all. And I'll wait to talk to Charles about it on Sunday. Because he said he was going to go see this early, which I believe him. He's a Superman stan. So he's going to see this early. So I expect to have that conversation with him Sunday and see how he felt about this depiction. Because I immediately hated that shit. Like, immediately. It was like, what the fuck, dude? And that was one of several what the fuck moments for characters for me in this movie. So, it is what it is. Guy Gardner worked for me. I thought his haircut would look better. It didn't. It didn't. But Nathan Fillion was fun. But Nathan Fillion is Nathan Fillion. Guy Gardner as Nathan Fillion meant it was Nathan Fillion, giving you a little bit of Guy Gardner. And the one scene that should have gotten probably a big laugh passed without a murmur in the audience. So either I was in the wrong viewing group or it wasn't actually funny. But I can talk about that on Sunday after more people have actually seen it because I don't ruin stuff. No one said, is it better than Superman 3 at least? Superman 3 was... That's the one with Richard Pryor in it. So you want me to tell you if this movie is funnier than Richard Pryor in a Superman movie? I could say, I think, if you take Richard Pryor's funniness out of it, Madam Web was better than Superman 3. And I don't think anybody would care to prove me wrong or give a shit one way or the other. So, yes, this was better than Superman 3. Except for the fact I enjoyed Superman 3 for that evil version of Superman that came out of him after fucking with that fake kryptonite. That purple suited Superman and him and Clark having to have that fight in the junkyard. I like that Superman. The Superman that went to the bar, was drinking and shit, plucking peanuts so hard, he was breaking glass and shit. Like, bruh, get that man off the sauce. Which technically he shouldn't even been able to get drunk. But be that as it may, yeah, it was better than Superman 3. The real question is it better than Superman 4? The Quest for Peace. So that's my reaction to the new Superman movie. I came, I saw, it looked nice, very good special effects, liked the music, even the ending song, I was tapping my feet to that shit. But I didn't come out with any emotional feels on it at all. And that's shocking to me, being that I just saw James Gunn's last movie with Marvel, and I had some emotional feels about that movie. Guardians 3 had me in some ways. Shit. The Christmas special had me in some ways. But this, I felt nothing. Shout out to Dorian Rain. I felt nothing. And that's bothersome to me for a Superman movie. Doesn't make the movie terrible. Doesn't do that at all. I'm just saying, I think I should have felt something, and I didn't feel anything. Didn't. So that's my reaction. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I'm gonna jump on Rivals and see if I can feel something out of playing with Jean Grey. Cause some harm or get to cuss at some people, other than people who actually donate into the chat. So shout out to the Hollow Man, excuse me, the Hollow Ninja 10 for supporting the stream a few times. Three, five, 4 or 5 times. Shout out to, oh, that is the easy way to do that. Shout out to Sportaholic and Joe Herb for supporting the stream. Um, Definitely, if you want to see it, go see it. Like, you know me, I'm not going to tell you not to go see some shit unless it's just objectively bad. I don't think you need to stab your own eyes to understand that you don't want to be blind or it hurts. But it's the new movie, and it would help if you had your own opinion instead of somebody else's on what you thought about it. So you can go to the movies and see it. There's nothing that will um, kick up any hackles for taking your children or anything like that. It is a very safe movie in that respect. There is no real DEI or nothing really objectionable in that shit that would have you not go and see it. At least in that sense, James Gunn understood the assignment that you're making a Superman movie, and this needs to be watched by as many people as possible. So he reined some of his other humor back a bit. And yes, while this is humorous, it's not humorous in the same way he does some other stuff, which is a little less tongue and cheek sexual and stuff like that. It wasn't any of that. It's very safe for kids to go and watch. So you want to go see it? It's summertime. It's Sunday. Knock yourself out. Cavill's battle versus Zod had more depth, consequences, and feeling in course with battle versus Ultraman. You're right. It did. You actually felt something for Cavill, for Man of Steel taking on Zod, as opposed to Corn Sweat taking on Ultraman. And I think the reason being, that's a spoiler, so I can't say. Just saying, I agree with you. It didn't hold the same weight. It didn't feel the same. Because Cavill and Zod fighting, when Zod got pissed off, he's like, oh shit, he about to beat his ass. When Zod finally got pissed off and got those senses and shit under control, he's like, oh, you knew that he about to get his ass. Superman about to get his ass whooped, nigga. You about to go see Paul Kent soon. Like, you felt for him. You felt for him. Like, nope, this is your time. This is the day. Told my son that I was more Clark Kent instead of Kal-El. I was more Clark Kent. I don't know, as a Gen Xer, I was expecting more confidence as representative of Kal-El to me. Exactly, Trail. And that's what I'm thinking it is, that maybe it's just me. That's why I'm not overly blaming the movie. I'm just saying I didn't feel anything. But it's very modern, right? Someone further up said, you said yourself earlier, 17-year-old liked it. What I say? Probably because it was for him. All that weepy shit. Yeah, I'm a Gen Xer. That doesn't rock with me for my hero, man. I can see if you lost somebody, but just in general, I don't know, bro. Next we're gonna have Batman pouring out his heart to people. Love you, Selena. Oh shit. Let me just stop stealing all these diamonds. Yeah. So I think that's what it is too, confidence. Christopher Reeve's Superman always had confidence. Cavill's Superman had confidence with a I can't kick your ass. I'll smile. I can't kick your ass. Like, this will go real easy. This one, it's fun in some senses, but it feels to me like Clark Kent in a Superman suit. and not always Superman in a Clark Kent suit. That makes sense. So, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I've bitched long enough. Um, it's worth a watch. I can say that it's worth a watch. It's worth a watch, so you can have your own impression of it. You might enjoy it. You, depending on your age, you might really enjoy it. It might be really awesome to you. It might, and if so, or if not, come back Sunday and we'll talk about it. Because Sunday I will talk, and we can have a spoiler conversation then. Because I'm assuming at that point, everybody who wanted to see it saw it already. So we can have a conversation amongst the initiated and not have to overly censor ourselves for the uninitiated or the late adopters. Put it that way. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I have been Artisan MC. I have a headache. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.